You're listening to the Challenge Takes podcast, the only podcast that gets caught in the Reddit spam filter. Welcome to the Challenge Takes podcast, the hottest challenge takes on the internet. I'm Joe Puglisi, accompanied by Brian Smith.
Hello.
And here we are. 2 weeks after our last episode, I guess, because last week's so happened to not show up to anybody on Reddit. If you follow us on YouTube, then you saw it. And if you follow us directly on Soundcloud, then I guess you saw it too, but we get all of our SoundCloud hits off of Reddit, so we got like 7 hits on SoundCloud for our last episode that only I viewed because we got caught in the goddamn spam filter, and the mods did not get back to me about pulling it out.
Well, it was like Monday at that point, so
I don't give a damn. They didn't respond to me. like F off, because that means this next upload is gonna get put into the spam filter.
I hope it doesn't.
So I'm going to be texting or messaging mod Juan Rivera. Is that his name?
Yeah.
I don't know the username. Because the other one really dropped the ball, the moon dog cat thing.
Don't trust the mods. They do a good job.
No, he did terrible. And I'm going to say that right here. Right here, a minute and 35 seconds into our podcast, you dropped the ball, moon dog.
It's Moohawks, I think.
I don't give a damn.
We'll move on.
He doesn't deserve for me to say his name correctly. Yeah, that's right.
You must be a bottom then because he fucked you.
All right, that's just an uncalled for reference. Because this was a Shanesode.
The episode was called Shameless,
mm-hmm.
So you should have seen it coming. They telegraphed the Shanesode in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely a Shanesode, and the reason why Brian is shouting out loud, confusing listeners of the podcast, is that he's getting notifications on his phone.
There we go.
So just to clarify that outburst by Brian. But here we are, and I may couple this with episode 7. I may have like a little intro in front. If you click on this and there's like a 2-hour episode, it's because either episode 7 is at the tail end of this, or you're gonna learn this will be at the end, and I'll have a message at the beginning explaining why it's a 2-hour podcast. But that's probably what I'm gonna do, or I'm just gonna upload it again after they pull me out of the spam filter. But this is just a bunch of crap.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the main topic.
I'm mad as hell.
Which is
F
Shameless. It starts off where we left off last week with Ashley and Hunter coming in as the mercenaries. And as TJ said, they don't, even if they lose, they go to Redemption House. So
Did it really? I didn't even hear that part.
Yeah, so they are basically in the game just thrown right into an elimination. That's like the downside. The benefit is that they came in a couple weeks late, but the downside is that they have to win an elimination in order to get that spot.
I kind of think that's a bunch of crap. If they lose, they should just get sent home.
Well, the chances in Redemption are pretty slim.
They are.
Although the reaction from a Redemption House, if Ashley and Hunter just show up, would be hilarious.
That would be really funny.
Yeah.
And that almost happened.
It did. Faith and Angela still seething over Cam screwing them over last week, calling her the fakest girl in the house and all this other stuff. I believe Faith made a comment about someone having a fake nose, or when she has a fake nose, so she really shouldn't be talking.
It was Angela.
Yeah.
Angela said that.
Or Angela, yeah.
What's the Cam? That Cam needs to fix her wig and her nose.
Yeah, when she has a fake nose and she has fake hair.
I don't think that was the point she was making there. She's making the point that she's perfected her body.
Oh, I see.
And that Cam needs to perfect hers.
No, that's not.
That's exactly what she said.
That's a good point, then.
Yeah, it's a slam.
It's a slam.
It's
an
a
Angela
rib.
slam.
It's a rib right there.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they went into elimination, and Faith and Angela were kicking booty. Smashing through walls. They were smashing through walls, 6 of them.
Yeah.
And then you had to climb through the wall.
And there was a rope.
And there was a rope that attached Hunter and Ashley and Faith and Angela.
The equalizer for this one was, I believe, Hunter and Ashley's rope was actually a bit shorter because when Angela had plenty of room to punch hers, whereas Hunter had to kind of reach out and just knock it with his left hand. And also, I believe their walls were a little bit thicker. I did see that on Twitter, so...
Well, that's how you got to equalize it somehow.
It's also just
enough
of an equalizer anyway that Ashley had to start behind Hunter, so he couldn't go until she went.
Yeah, it ended up being this equalizer ended up being really fair.
Yeah,
it didn't end up like factoring into the elimination like potentially Paulie's. So it was aight and it was chill, but in the early going, it looked like Faith and Angela were running away with this thing. Before in classic like non-veteran fashion, tragedy just strikes. Like when does this happen to like the vets, to like a dude that's been in like 8 seasons in elimination?
No, everything just breaks their way.
Yeah, like and just absolutely breaks down. The last time I've seen something like break bad for a veteran was like Bananas when he got dizzy.
On the
against Derek.
The spinning wheel, yeah.
Yeah. It's the last time I've seen something break bad for like a vet.
What happened was her fingernail went into her thumb.
Yeah,
from punching.
I know that's what happened because that's what she said.
That is what she said.
And it psyched her out. She was really freaked out, taking a look down and seeing her thumb all messed up. So, but she never showed. Not to say that I want to go see like something like gnarly or anything, but I just mean that like it was like really hard to like even get like even a glimpse towards like this debilitating injury that took her out of this competition. That's kind of what I mean by that. Yeah. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. It took her out of the competition. She could not bust that wall.
And we're left with the sad visual of Faith just punching away at this to no avail while Ashley headbutts her way through her wall.
Yeah, that was obviously all for the cameras.
No regard for her own safety.
That is just really dumb and was not nearly as effective as her fists.
She tried it.
Yeah, and she got nowhere with it. She head rammed like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, I'm just gonna punch the rest of this out because she did not get anywhere. But nonetheless, Hunter and thinking of that other Alliance member, Hunter and Ashley slide through the holes on these walls and they skedaddle back to the group. Well, I guess they skedaddle to the bell first.
Hunter's already taking shots at Johnny.
He's letting them fire.
Yeah.
That was also like this was a Shanesode, but this was also a like Bananas we coming for you sode. Pretty much.
You can call it that.
Like because that's literally everybody was just talking about how they have power over Bananas.
Yep, they do.
We got at least like 7 people said it this episode.
Nelson and Hunter go for a big what do you call those?
Well, I thought it was going to be a chest bump, but then it looked like Nelly still decided on the chest bump while Hunter decided on the shoulder bump.
The shoulder bump.
The back shoulder bump. And so he just went like back shoulder into Nelly's chest, but he didn't seem to mind too much.
Yep, and this is where we get Sylvia explaining that her, Amanda, Ashley, and Shane have this alliance called the Lavender Ladies, which I've alluded to in the past on this podcast, but not everyone knows this because it has not been brought up before until now.
Was it Sylvia that said it? Because I remember Shane having a confessional about it.
Shane might have said it too, but Sylvia was the one who kind of introduced it.
Well, Shane, I do know that Shane's confessional is where they created the graphic of the Lavender Ladies, and he introduced like the members.
Yeah. And Shane was saying that they've all hated each other at times, but they ultimately still all stick together when they're on the challenge together.
The Lavender Ladies.
So foreshadowing, because they're all 4 on different teams here, but there are very good teams.
That's true. That is definitely some foreshadowing. We could see these teams making waves. I mean, you're right. All 4 of these teams, these 4 teams are like in the top 6.
Also found funny that Shane said we've all hated each other at different times, but really all of them have just had fights with Shane. Like I don't think the girls have fought each other. But
when have Amanda and Sylvia ever had bad blood? Never.
And those 3 girls get along great. Shane's the one who, when there's ever been any friction, it was always them yelling at Shane about something.
The lesson to be learned and seen later this episode is like Shane needs to stop drinking.
Is drinking the issue? Because he's not drinking during the challenge. I don't think he was drunk during that fight with John. Maybe he was. Because that was right after.
No, it was right after he was drunk.
Yeah.
I believe he also started that fight with a confessional saying like, "Drunk Shane, here he comes, running his mouth at Johnny Bananas," like something along those lines. So he was definitely drunk.
And Kyle leads us off with, or ends this Armageddon scene off by saying that Ashley, she's a sexy girl, and she swap out one sexy girl for another. That's great for me. And Kyle's getting right down to business with Ashley. Also TJ leaving Bananas with a great line. I don't know if Bananas said anything or he was alluding to the fact that it was kind of unfair. Mm-hmm. And TJ just mentioned, you came in about this point on Invasion, Banana, so you should probably shut up. TJ calling out hypocrite Bananas. Mm-hmm. Love it.
Savage TJ.
Suck my ass, TJ.
You think you mean suck my ass Bananas?
Well, yeah. Well,
I mean, unless you're into that.
Bananas said suck my ass TJ to TJ last season.
Do you think TJ has an intercom in his ear where the producers talk to him?
Maybe. Or the shoots take a while, so he could also have time to go off screen, get stuff, come back, tell everybody everything.
I guess, because I was just thinking, like his quick quip of like challenge history on Bananas is like a little out of like the TJ realm.
Yeah,
like he usually doesn't reference like history of the challenge.
No, he doesn't. You're right.
Unless it's like something like highly scripted, like where he's talking about like an event that they're about to do, mm-hmm. or introducing in like episode 1 and stuff. That stuff is like extremely scripted, and he absolutely talks about the past all the time in that stuff. But just like in random like quips like that, he usually kind of keeps it in the now. So that's why I was wondering if a producer kind of was like, hey, by the way, It
was a surprising clapback from TJ, but we very much enjoyed it. Because as Bananas, the biggest issue that most people have with Bananas is that he's a walking hypocrite. Complains about stuff when it doesn't benefit him.
Sure does.
Mm-hmm. So we get the Redemption House. And...
what happens in the Redemption House?
Angela and Faith just showed up.
What up?
Yeah, and they let the house know that Ashley and Hunter were there and in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And
the most important takeaway of this scene was what was on Paulie's head.
So it's wearing his like Christmas hat.
He looked like a Marvel supervillain. Like he looked so ridiculous. And, of course, he's, like, freaking out. He's never met Hunter or Ashley. But this guy is such a fan of the show that he is just losing his mind over the fact that Hunter and Ashley are here. Looking like Magneto or something.
Everybody had the same shocked face when they said that. They cut to, there's CT, here's Paulie, here's Tori. And they all just had that, like, on their face.
Yeah, CT's been doing his best to capture camera time in the Redemption House.
He's trying
by like doing like goofy stuff like that he totally wouldn't do in the main house. Because he's got to be so goddamn bored over there, hanging out with Mini Me and all the girls.
Which one's Mini Me?
Paulie.
Oh, Paulie's Mini Me. Oh yeah, I get your point now.
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to I thought you were talking about like Natalie as Mini Me.
Like being small?
Yeah, no. I don't know why I didn't put 2 and 2 together there. Because we've said on our past podcast how Paulie like looks up to CT.
Yeah, idolizes him.
Yeah, so they also told him about, this is what they did. They told him about how Cam kind of is controlled everything to get them out.
And Tori was really clapping back at that.
Yeah.
She was smashing the table.
The Tori and Cam Rookie of the Year debate is a common one I see.
I've always thought about that. I do think Rookie of the Year went to Tori, but Cam has...
Cam won those eliminations, though, and beat Tori.
It doesn't matter. Tori went to the final.
So did Cam.
In Dirty 30?
No, on Vendettas.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're talking about rookie of the year.
Yeah.
How many seasons are you allowed to be a rookie in, Brian?
I'm saying Tori.
Dirty 30.
No, you're not. You're clearly missing
No.
the point here. Who had the better rookie season, Tori or Cam? That's the question.
I think I am missing it.
Yeah,
They weren't on the same season.
No. Did you think Cam was on Dirty 30 too?
Oops. I don't know.
These seasons
I don't know
really are,
what rookie I'm confusing them with.
These seasons really are blending together. Then, if you really thought that.
Yeah, I really
Probably
did.
Brittany or
I
somebody.
really did. I was really under just like full belief that they were on the same rookie season.
Well, Tori was a mercenary.
I was literally thinking in my mind too that this is only Tori's second season and this is Cam's third.
Well, because she did Champs for Star, but Tori did 2 Champs for Stars.
But I wasn't thinking about Champs of Star. I was just thinking that their rookie year was Dirty 30 and that Cam's been on every season since, and Tori took a season off.
Yeah.
Literally just flew the coop in my brain.
Yeah. What did you? So Cam was on Dirty 30. She got eliminated by somebody. We've been talking about how she's undefeated. So when could she have lost elimination on that season?
No, I didn't think that deep. But I did think her 3 eliminations came on Dirty 30.
when one of them was against Tori and Ashley, who quit the season day one.
To clarify, this is also like a major brain lapse. Like I'm very well aware.
I'm just roasting you for it now.
I'm very well aware that she wasn't on Dirty 30 and that her wins didn't come on that season. But my brain was not working a minute ago, and it was really melding them together.
So back to the main house. Bananas is just whining about this is another thing that gets me. Me versus the world as usual.
As usual.
I believe this is the first time, literally not even last season, because last season was like, I guess kinda.
He ran the game.
But he ran the game for a while, and it took Tony finally growing a sack to send him into elimination. But every season before that, besides maybe Bloodlines, Bananas always has it's never him versus the world on these shows.
Not once. I mean, right now it's not even him versus the world. He's got Kyle.
It's kind of him versus the world now.
He's got Tony.
I got the vibe.
He's got Tony.
You're getting the way the edit is going is making it seem like it's him versus the world this time.
You forget
it's hard to go
about
around
him and Kyle.
I don't think him and Kyle are
sharing a
lines.
glass of wine today, talking about being bros.
Kyle was one of the guys that wanted to get him out last season. He told Tony to send him in.
Yeah, and that's last season.
You think Kyle and Brad want Bananas and Tony to be there at the end with him?
They want him to go further.
I don't know about that.
That's like what?
Kyle and Brad.
You think they want him out now? No way.
Kyle and Brad are in a weird place in the game right now.
I think Kyle and Brad are gonna want him out eventually because they got to win. But I think they want Tony and Bananas right up until the final, not in the final, but up until.
We'll see.
Because they're gonna be their strongest. Like, because Tony or right now Bananas has their back like all the way, which of course is a bad.
Bananas doesn't have anyone's back all the way.
Of course, is a bad game to play, but he has their back all the way right now, and there's a lot of air quotes around all the way.
Yeah, and who else does he have?
Kyle.
Who else does Bananas have?
I just said that team.
Jose.
All that naming one team means that you're not. It's not you're back against the wall. You against the world.
So. Yeah, but that's my point, is he complains about this one. Literally 2 seasons ago, Dirty 30, he almost made it to the end without seeing an elimination because of a big alliance that he was in.
Yeah, this is also like really awesome that Leroy's not on this season.
Thank God. Leroy, the Bananas enabler.
Yeah, I think he thought the better of it after taking a fall off of a car.
Well, he came back and did more challenges.
And then getting screwed by faulty equipment. No, he won by faulty equipment.
No, I think he just wanted to go to barber school.
Is that what he did?
Yeah.
He spent this time off in barber school?
Yeah.
That a boy.
I don't care to see. To be honest, Leroy's a good dude, but I don't care to see him again on the challenge. His time has come.
Yeah, if Leroy could just pop a quick retire, real quick retire.
So, Cam was explaining her big move to Sylvia, how she was able to save 7 teams with her move.
Yeah.
And Davon was not happy about it. Probably just salty that she got played hard, but Jose and Davon were upset that Cam was looking down on them as rookies when she was also a rookie technically.
Instead of looking down on this, you should be looking at the bright side, is that TJ saved your freaking ass.
Yeah, exactly.
And that easily could have been you versus Faith.
Yeah, and they
Angela.
would have lost.
No, well, I don't think they would have because Faith was still going to hurt her thumb.
But if Faith didn't hurt her thumb, then
Faith
would it still have happened?
If Faith didn't hurt her thumb, then she would have still. Then they would have beat Amanda.
It's the fallacy of a predetermined outcome.
Brian, go to hell.
I hear that a lot on. I don't know, probably not any Yankee fans on here, but Michael Kay, the Yankees broadcaster, will say that all the time about stuff like, well, if this guy is able to work a walk in this situation, would the next guy have gotten a hit? Well, you can't say that for sure because it's the fallacy of a predetermined outcome. He's like the only person I've ever seen use it, but it's actually a term that's fair.
I think that Angela, like, regardless, Faith is probably busting her hand anyway. Like, she's punching a wall. And clearly that's a form problem. That's like the way she's putting her thumb forward on her fist, rather than like gripping it down.
Jose and Devon would have also had an equalizer against them in that for being a guy-girl team.
Oh yeah, they would have.
And Faith and Angela probably were still stronger than them regardless.
Well, I mean, as we were seeing, they were going to beat Hunter and Amanda.
You mean Ashley? That's the second time you did that.
Whoops. Are you sure that's the second time?
Yeah, the second time you called Ashley.
I messed up Corey and Hunter, but
you've called Ashley Amanda twice now.
Oh well.
You probably do it more throughout the season as well.
You guys get it.
This is where we get the. This was probably they plant the seed and then they just went right to the seed. The seed just blossomed. Is that what seeds do? I tried to make an analogy there and it didn't work, did it?
I mean, no, because flowers blossom.
Yeah.
But a seed could be the seed of a flower. It'd be the seed grew.
Sure.
And then the flower blossomed.
Blossomed very quickly as next thing we know,
sprouted.
Ashley and Kyle are in bed together, fucking.
Sure were.
And perfect for Kyle because I don't think any girl in the house at this point would have hooked up with him except for Ashley because she just got here.
Oh, God forbid.
Yes. So God forbid Kyle doesn't have someone to get in bed with. He's had someone to get in bed with every time he's ever been on the show.
Sure has.
This guy, he is like upped Corey to another level. Like I don't think Corey's ever had this much success.
Who?
Like Corey's gone through phases where he hasn't had a girl that he's been able to hook up with. But Kyle, so far,
this is 2 seasons.
It's a perfect track record.
This is 2 seasons and 3 girls. Corey still has a higher body count.
I guess, but like
it's a bad way to put it. He still has made it with.
Kyle's never not had a girl to hook up with on this show. Is what I'm trying to say.
That's just happenstance.
I guess, but I can see it's gonna happen again next season. I can already tell you, he's a good player in the game, and he's just so charming.
It's just
something about him.
Pirates steal booty.
And so, what happened next? Hunter tried to ask Ashley what happened, and she lied to him. I'm not sure why. Did she?
She didn't want to mess up Hunter's mentality. Would that
have really messed up their mentality?
He was clearly upset walking in.
Why would that have upset him?
Because Kyle's in an alliance with bananas.
I don't think Ashley is going to be swayed that way, to be honest. She's just fucking him. Kyle didn't help Faith at all, so.
Well, how could he?
I know, but I guess he didn't do anything to like protect Faith in the game, even though they were fucking. He never even really said that he was like looking out for her. Faith said that she was hooking up with him because he assumed she.
That makes no difference on Hunter's opinion towards Kyle having sex.
I know.
With his partner.
I was just going on a different tangent there, but I guess Hunter could be upset for that reason, but. Mm-hmm. I mean, they just got there though, so they can't. Can
it's
they
also
really?
Not a good look. Day one, your partner's going and stirring something.
Well, they were still like together though, is what I'm saying. So like, she only lied about the coitus part.
Well, I don't recall her saying that they did. I thought she said that they didn't do anything.
Well, yeah, but
like that she just like did.
It was a rumor,
general denial.
But the fact that it's a rumor means that they were like hanging out to some extent, you know.
Yeah,
and getting close. But she doesn't tell him about that. So next we get to Jose and Devon had a scene by the Shane apologizing to Devon, but admitting in his confessional that it's basically a bunch of bullshit and he's just trying to get in her head. Which Devon also knew that it was bullshit and he was just trying to get in her head.
Basically it was a pointless scene and I didn't give a shit. It was only in this because it was a Shanesode, so they needed to keep building that Shane is in this episode.
Yep, and Jose says later on that he will never be friends with Shane and doesn't like him, which also comes back around later on in the episode.
Sure
so we get a nice little break here in the action as we go out for a night of wine or a day of wine with the cast. As a very small clips. These two have been very hard. Scenes of these two have been very hard to come by, but Amanda and Joss do get a very short scene where Amanda says that Joss is trying to get to know her, as opposed to Angela and Faith, as opposed to Angela and Bananas, which is only for the game.
Yeah, actually, what she said was that she sort of kind of thinks that Joss is maybe trying to get to know her.
I feel like this,
and she also kind of rolled her eyes a little bit.
No, I feel like this relationship's just been so under-edited. Like, that confessional could have been weeks ago, and they just piped it in here because they haven't gotten anything.
Maybe.
But they were kissing.
That would be the biggest possibility.
They were cuddling up next to each other, kissing. So, anyway, moving on. Shane basically is drunk at this point. So now he's upset that Kara and Bananas are friends because, out of necessity, basically. And he doesn't like their friendship because Bananas has done a lot of shit to Kara over the years, which is a valid point. And that's always been my stance as well, is if both of them actually had a decent amount of friends in the house. Not Kara's never had that many close friends, but if Bananas had his usual people with him, they wouldn't be suddenly best friends with each other. It's more out of need for the game because they only have each other at this point. You know what I'm saying?
I completely understand what you're saying. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, because just 3 seasons ago, these two were feuding and having personal issues.
Everyone hates Bananas except for Leroy, and everyone hates Kara except for Kara. So, except for CT. So, what are you gonna do? You're gonna hang out.
Yeah, pretty much. And Shane also makes, I think, a good point, is that Johnny and Kara both have this thing where they don't really personally connect with other people in the house, so they kind of do it to themselves. Now, there's no rule that says you have to do that in the challenge, but relationships are a big part of the game. Obviously, as we can see with the Lavender ladies here, they actually are really good friends, and it's going to work it for them in the game. So that's where he really goes off here. Starts yelling at Johnny and Shane. He always has to say, before every fight, he's like, "I like you as a person, but..." And
it just wasn't true. All he does is talk about how much he dislikes Bananas.
But he also sneaking in that he secretly is in love with him at times. Or is this... he's definitely attracted to Bananas.
Super attracted to Bananas.
But he puts the best part is he puts the helmet on.
He's like, I got enough confidence.
I got the helmet on too. Or Shane, no.
Because Bananas made fun of his helmet, so he's like, well, dude, I got enough confidence that I can still bark at you while wearing my helmet. Because he's not afraid to show that he's using something to help his hair grow.
And Bananas always with this holier than thou attitude when stuff is working against him.
It's always low blowing.
Yeah, and he's like, Shane's getting in women's faces. How dare he? When he's the one to speak up on these situations and be the voice of moral high ground.
Yeah, I the only person that can talk down to Shane about that stuff is Nelson, because he gets so goddamn disappointed whenever his teammate does something wrong. He comes in
styling and profiling with his shades.
This has been one of the secret highlights of the season is watching Shane blow up and then Nelson have to come in and be like, "Cool it, man." And it's happened I would say around 3 times this season that this has happened, maybe even 4, that Nelson's had to step in on Shane nonsense, and it's led to either a really good live segment or confessional segment between them. Actually, adding confessionals, it's probably been 5 or 6 times that Nelson's had to reprimand Shane, and it's super funny.
And their fight at the challenge later on, which is actually almost first there was a redemption scene where the surveillance camera, or not the surveillance camera. Well, I guess it was surveillance cameras technically that caught some of this, but they bring him into the surveillance room and they show them almost right away. TJ was there to show them this, that Kyle and Ashley were hooking up.
TJ could not wait any longer to spill the beans.
So it's pretty funny. Most of the people in the main house don't know this, but everyone in the Redemption house knows it.
I feel like just about everybody in the main house knows it.
Maybe not that they fucked. It took a while for them to figure out Kyle and Faith were fucking.
There are people in the room.
It was the same bed too. That's the best part. And Ashley's joke about peeing was funny too. It was like something about like the bed was wet, and then she looks right in the camera.
Was not it at all.
Well,
Cam was pointing at beds, or maybe not Cam, maybe like Sylvia or Amanda or somebody was pointing at beds and saying like, that one's taken, that one's available, and she went, I'll take this one, and touched Faith's bed, and that's when they're like, oh, actually, maybe you shouldn't. And then she was like, what? Did someone pee the bed? Oh, yeah. Kayla's not here.
She looked right to the camera when she said it too.
Yeah, she was playing it up.
That was funny. Good callback to the Kayla peeing the bed incident. And it's good to say now that Kayla's not on the show anymore. You can throw a little shade at her.
She gonna get like recasted?
Kayla, yeah.
Oh.
She's on this new show with this new show called Lindsay Lohan Beach House. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I was slightly, because I saw a Reddit comment or post about her being on the Jersey Shore, and then I saw a comment saying that she was on like this Lindsay Lohan whatever.
That show's probably gonna do better numbers on the challenge, to be honest. It's following a similar concept to Vanderpump Rules, which is a highly popular show. That's where Faith is from. And it's exactly the kind of show that's good for MTV.
So was it Lindsay Lohan and Kayla just hanging out?
It's people that are working at like a beach. I guess Lindsay Lohan's beach house. I guess, but they're basically just working there, and it's showing their lives as they work there. So
Kayla's working at Lindsay Lohan's beach house.
Yes.
Why?
That's the premise of the show.
So it's like let's go, we're gonna put you onto a reality show, and that's your job, and we're gonna Jersey Shore this and make you go work like a meaningless job to make it act like you have a job to stay where you are, even though it's totally like production paying.
But you can't piss off Lindsay Lohan.
Oh my god, this is really dumb.
Vanderpump Rules is a good show. I've heard good things about it. I won't watch it, but it's obviously popular, so
sure seems like it.
Yeah.
Sure seems like a real winner of a TV show to me.
So let's get. Oh, we didn't even say Faith was not happy about it, and Veronica says like, I kind of feel bad for her, but I kind of don't, because I mean it's Kyle.
Yeah, because resident Kyle expert Veronica has to come in on this.
Well, she's right too. I mean, Kyle is totally.
I mean, you can like kind of like, if you're not interested in Kyle, you can like absolutely like see through what's happening. Mm-hmm. But if you're caught up in the act, you're gonna just like.
She was just mad at how quickly he just moved along. You know, I don't think she had that.
She should be upset. Yes. It was a little dicky,
and I don't think she had that much romantic feelings for it. She just felt disrespected in the situation.
She probably did.
And I don't agree with the surveillance camera being shown right away too, because to be honest, this surveillance room doesn't really have much of a purpose other than just pissing off the people in the house, in the Redemption house, because all they show them are hookups or fights that don't really impact the game at all. So the only purpose of really showing this was just to make Faith angry at Kyle.
Very much.
Yeah.
I guarantee this was a shoehorned event that got thrown in because of the episode 1 Kayla and
You think
Melissa,
the whole twist was thrown in for that reason?
Yeah, I have a feeling they cleared out a room full of production suitcases and put this TV here and decided like, hey, we're just gonna,
because there's not much important information is really being shown here.
No, nothing important has been shown on it
for the game. I mean, obviously it's important to Faith, but like no one else really matters for this.
Correct, Mundo.
Yeah, so Faith's not mad about it. Angela was comforting her. We move on to the challenge. I didn't get the name of the challenge or the elimination this week. Whatever, who cares? The point is you have these this giant field with like a thing, like a spinning wheel in the middle, and it's basically like rugby kind of.
Yeah. Okay. There was 2 fields, teams on each side, and in the middle was a big wall and 2 spinning like kind of like revolving doors, and you had to get your ball on your side. Or get the ball on the other side and return it.
Yeah,
it looked like to your side. So it's like playing like capture the flag in a sense.
Yeah, but there's also tackling.
Yeah, it's physical capture the flag because rugby would be one ball.
And now it's weird when you have this setup though, where you have one team has 2 more players than the other.
Well, that's the way it happens when you got odd numbers.
And then the other is, and it's funny too because the timing of these challenges must not have worked out for them because last week they also did that, but because Ashley and Hunter joined the game, it was still uneven numbers. So this is the second week in a row where they've had uneven numbers on a team challenge. And I'm not huge on the winning team gets voted the winning team because that's very Champs vs Stars-esque.
Yeah, I'm not digging this whole like, hey, you won last time, so why don't you just like choose to your left or right on these like unbalanced teams that we created? Because it's happened 2 weeks in a row.
Well, not that part necessarily, but what annoyed me is that when you win the challenge by a vote, not necessarily by your performance, or just by being the best team, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've always despised that part too.
Like that's what they do on Champs vs Stars, and it sucks.
Yeah, it just thank God they edited out whatever talk was in between to decide the champions. And because if this was Champs vs Stars, that would have been a 20-minute segment.
And they made it so easy for Shane to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah, they really didn't. It really just fell in line perfectly.
So right away, Shane wants to throw it, and Nelson is like, "No, I want to tackle people. I got the fighting spirit."
Honestly, this was a really good move for Shane and Nelson.
It was Nelson
doesn't get it right now.
He's just too pure and nice, and just wants to compete, man.
Yeah, he's
understand.
He's in the heat of the moment. Looking back on this at the reunion, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, that was a smart move."
So, and we'll just get right into it. Shane blatantly throws the challenge, even going as far as just sitting down at his own goal and not moving. Then he helps people through. He helped Cam through the door with the ball, I think.
Yeah. No, he was like shouting over to her to go through like another one that wasn't being guarded.
So not only 10 versus 8 became 11-on-7, but as Shane explained, if he didn't win the challenge, or if his side somehow won the challenge, then the Bananas and Tony could have potentially been voted the power team, and he didn't want any part of that because they're a direct target to him. Mm-hmm. And so is Jose and Devon. So throw the challenge.
Well, yeah. Let's be honest. Of the teams, like of those 4 teams on that side, I would give like probably a 65 to 70% chance Johnny Bananas and Tony would become the team champions or whatever the hell they call it, the power team, and that would leave 30 to 35% to be split between 3 other teams. So that would be like 10%, 15%.
So, meanwhile, you throw for the other team, they're not going to put you in because you help them win.
Yeah, he's a thinking man.
So anyway,
good move. I support it because it was a smart challenge decision. However, I am also side with Nelson on times that the love of fair competition and all, and that part kind of stinks, but good game decision.
So Amanda scores the first point, Hunter scores the second point, so it was an easy 2-0 victory for them. And then Jose and Devon are not pleased.
Who did you say scored the points?
Amanda and Hunter.
Okay, I thought you said Ashley and Hunter.
No, I actually said it right. This time, Amanda and Hunter actually make sense this time.
That's why I was asking you, because I knew that Amanda and Hunter scored.
Yeah, so Jose not happy, and then Jose busts out of nowhere in his confessional that he thinks Shane is threatened by him as the up-and-coming gay guy on the show. Because he's hotter
maybe I missed the first part or the second part of that confessional. I just remember him saying that he is hotter or has a better body and
I don't know if he necessarily implied that, but you basically got the gist of what he's trying to say. It's like, right. I'm replacing him as the gay guy on the show. So even though Jose is terrible compared to Shane as a competitor.
That part is true. The first part is judgy.
I mean, judgy.
He didn't say it. No, you're coming to gay conclusions.
That's definitely what he's implying.
That is offensive.
That is definitely what he's implying. I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter. That's offensive. He didn't say. You gotta let him say it.
Oh my god. Okay, whatever.
PC Joe has entered the building.
PC Joe has entered the building. Yeah. So then it leads to this ridiculous fight that they have, which, as I said in the earlier the episode, Shane's like, "Oh, you're a bottom because you just got fucked."
All right. PC Joe still finds that rather funny that he said that to him.
I don't even remember the content, but there was a lot of like boo, calling each other boo, calling each other bitch. Jose was trying to say that he's got a great job outside the show, and then Shane was bringing up the fact that he's just a shitty rapper. Oh, but then he said like. He then said like, I bet his song's not actually that bad, or it's like, I bet he's not that bad, but since he doesn't mean anything to me, I'm gonna make him feel bad for it.
Yeah,
just petty Shane to the max.
Yeah,
a lot of people will probably look at this as like pet and found Shane annoying this episode, which he was at times, but he also like made the episode.
Oh no, this is the only thing that kept me like from staying on my phone this entire episode, because the rest of it was a snoozer.
Like, I love this petty catty, like this petty catty Shane. I find entertaining. I just do.
No, he totally is.
Yeah.
He like him and Marie are like the only like two like petty people that actually like think before they act. Like, and they're usually like launching this as like some sort of like hidden ulterior motive. Or like doing it to purposely get under someone's skin.
And Paul, what are you gonna say? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say not to say that, you know, like if Kara gets petty, that she's not doing it with a hidden motive. But those two always seem to like actually like they're not just doing it because they're a petty bitch. And other people like Bananas, Kara, the list goes on. Because I can't think of any right now, so I'm just saying that. You know, they're just be petty to be petty sometimes. But these two always kind of seem to have a plan.
Also, I'm going to say that Paulie could definitely take lessons from Shane here on his mental warfare strategies.
Paulie?
Well, because Paulie was going on about how this mental warfare, and all that happened was he lost, and then people were laughing at him afterwards, and he was getting mad at that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he's going to be taking strats, he might as well be taking strats from Cam.
Well, Cam is the gameplay wise, but I'm talking about mental warfare. As a strategy.
All right, yeah. If you're gonna separate them like that, yeah.
Which is what Shane did in this game. He wanted to rattle Bananas and Kara, and he wanted to rattle Devon and Jose.
And I would say that he did a damn good job of rattling just about everybody on his team.
Bananas was definitely not happy about the fact
this was a very him and Han Bananas episode, because he already got bad news from Hunter, and then he had a dude that doesn't like him throw a game and make himself lose just so he could also make Bananas lose. So this isn't the first time that we've seen Shane suicide himself. Remember on like that tippy ladder?
Oh yeah, that was a great move when he.
That was incredible.
When he took CT and Bananas with him.
That was amazing. Yeah. Was that last season?
No, it's Invasion.
Okay.
It was a kamikaze.
That was a beautiful maneuver.
Yeah.
One of the best I've seen.
So then they proceed to play Jose's rap song on that.
That was just
perfect timing.
That was a perfect production slide in on the episode. just like kind of like, you know, put that right here and put that little tagline at the bottom with the music credits. Let you know what they're doing. That was rather funny. By the way, we looked up the song, and this Jose song is located in exactly two sources: iTunes and a single video on YouTube with 300 views.
340.
Okay, 340 views, and it has been uploaded since March. So, I don't know how many downloads he has on iTunes, but it doesn't seem like he's getting hits, especially because he also tweeted it out and said that the link was in his bio, and by the time we checked it, it wasn't in his bio, so he already decided it was unimportant enough to his Twitter bio that had to be removed to make space for like whatever other, you know, dumb characters he's gonna write about. or fill that space with. So like I don't know. Doesn't seem on the up and up for the music career for Jose right now. Also, it's featuring some dude, and I listened to, I don't know, about 20 seconds of it, and it didn't sound like Jose, but it was talking a lot about straight sex, and I was just like, all right, so where's Jose in this song? Because that definitely wasn't him. So maybe I just tuned in right on the featuring part, but it just kind of seemed weird to me that was like in a song called Tony Montana. It's just all about like hot chicks and straight sex.
Yo,
Like, that was literally
PC Joe is now gone out the window here.
No, that's what I was saying.
His...
No. I'm saying that the 20 seconds that I heard, I'm stating fact, were just straight up girls grinding on wieners. Like that was like pretty much the lyrics, inserting like mean words like bitch and dick instead of girls and wiener.
I think we've talked enough about Jose's song on this podcast. Seemingly a complete afterthought after all this fighting is going on, but they end up giving the win to Zach and Amanda, so they've now won 3 of the... How many challenges have they done? 6? So they won 50% of the challenges.
I wouldn't
Good
know how many
ratio. So
wow, thanks for the expert analysis there.
Yeah.
3 for 6 on like a game that's had 10 plus teams at points in time.
That's a good record.
That's a damn good record.
Even though this one was kind of not that difficult.
Didn't 2 of those win last week?
No, they won the train, they won the first one, the dig up your partner, and then they won this one.
Did they lose last week?
No, yeah. Cam won. Cam.
Oh, right, because it became a team into a solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it.
For the episode. It was kind of a weird spot to just end. Just not in a sense that like they left us like high and dry. Yeah. Just that typically they don't end their episodes after an event.
Challenge.
Yeah, it usually ends after like some sort of house nonsense or like cliffhanging and elimination or just after one or just even sometimes have they even done no, they never do before a challenge. That would be ridiculous.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, it just I mean it was time that their 60 minutes were up, but it's just a little off-putting. I was like, oh, like seeing the credits roll while they're like still outside, like on the grass from the elimination. I was like, oh, or from the challenge. I was like, all right, I guess it's over. All right, which I wasn't too disappointed about because, as we said, this episode was kind of boring, and
it was fine.
There's just some Shane highlights that really kept the ball rolling. Keep us
Let's go to the sauna because I am sweating. It's hot up here.
It is really hot. It's really hot here, just like in the state of Connecticut right now. It was like 92, 94 degrees today.
My car had said 102 in the afternoon.
Look, that's a dig that I need to go in on. Car heat sensors. They're always freaking wrong.
Well, yeah, it definitely wasn't actually that hot, but
like 102 bull crap. I've been like with my stepfather when we were in like Brooklyn once, and he was just like laying in like, 98 degrees. I didn't think it got that hot. I like look at my phone. It was like 91. Like I'm gonna be disregarding my car's heat sensor. I mean, I don't have one right now, like a car that has one. But I will be disregarding that for my entire life.
Yeah. So
all it does is give a general thing like it read 102. It's definitely hot out today. It read 12 degrees. It's definitely cold today.
So the sauna. I'm gonna start off because this makes perfect sense. Now, Jose and Devon are the team that will be targeted by Zach and Amanda with their power vote. I can only assume. So that's why Shane throwing this, it couldn't have worked out better for him because now Amanda and Zach also won. Clearly a team that they're going to be coming for. So there you go. So I think Jose and Devon are going to end up in that elimination next week. They're going to go home. But by some miracle, they're going to end up pulling that thing. Either them or Paulie and Natalie
You're going to pull the double cross?
are going to pull it face each other again, and Jose and Yvonne are going to win again and go back to the house.
So they will be eliminated next week.
Yep.
And then come back, assumingly the following week or whatever, whenever the slow motion production decides that the redemption challenge is.
Yeah. Well, they teased the double cross for next week.
Okay, so you're saying that this could be a Jose Devon-sode, where they, in the very beginning, like within the first 20 minutes, they get sent to redemption, and within the last 5-10 minutes, they are back in the house. Mm-hmm. Started the episode in the house and ended the episode in the house, but not before being sent to redemption, losing an elimination and being sent to redemption, and then winning another elimination.
Don't think they'll have enough time for 2 whole eliminations, but
that would be totally awesome, and it would be super hilarious. Like just gonna really throw out an obscure wrestling reference here. When Maven went into WrestleMania, the hardcore champion, and left the hardcore champion, but not before the hardcore title switched like 6 times.
Just the hardcore title in general is a good analogy.
Yeah, it really is. A hardcore title in general, an analogy of that. Now, I'm going to mention, just like I did last week, that none of you guys heard, because freaking mods. You did your hot take first, and you always have like 2 or 3 hot takes. Actually, you've never had 3. You always have like 2 hot takes. So I'm about to just like really lay in the takes. Go, I guess for it. It's my turn. And this one is about the episode. So I have that this season, and we're later we're still in the first half of the season, but this would be definitely like an episode 2 hot take. Shanesode trifecta.
So he's gonna have a 3.
He's gonna have 3 Shanesodes this season.
Yeah, I feel like he's had one kind of before this one too. Like he's just been such a prominent feature this whole season.
I don't know if he's had a sode besides this one, like before this, within the first 6 episodes.
Like the one that he was fighting Jose Devon he was in a lot.
Was he in that one a lot?
Yeah.
I know he's in there a lot at the end.
He was fighting Nelson on that one too.
Was that enough to qualify as a sode?
I guess not.
I mean, and I don't know why I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because of course I want it as close to 3 as possible. I want my hot take to be true. But he's been getting a lot of airtime, and this angle does not show any signs of stopping.
Mm-hmm. So, want to go ahead and give another one?
Sure. Your fantasy team's gonna come in last place.
Interesting.
Because
your
wide receiving core blows.
You're going to come in 8th place. You're coming down with me, buddy.
I'm going down with you? Yeah. I don't know. My team kind of looks trash now.
Yeah. Well,
all of my prospects did not pan out.
We are not a fantasy football podcast.
We are a fantasy challenge podcast, though.
We don't play fantasy challenges. Not this year.
Not this year. We're taking a year off.
So mine, to piggyback off of talking about Shane, since he was such a... I
thought you were going to say piggyback talking off of your fantasy football take.
Football. My other one is, they always keep talking about, like, Shane's got this huge target he's going to put on himself by doing all this stuff. It's never going to end up rearing its head, and Shane and Nelson are going to make the final without ever going into an elimination. That is my take.
I can see it happening. Because all those people that are like, F you, Shane, talking a lot of crap, and, Karma's a bitch. They all have no power in the game.
Yeah, people who say Karma is a bitch are just mad because they got outplayed in the game.
Yeah, that tends to be this.
Exactly.
That does tend to be
like Tori sitting in the redemption house, like, Cam, that Karma's going to come back around on her. That's what you said in the redemption.
Yeah.
That annoys me anytime someone brings up Karma in general. Karma isn't a thing.
Karma's a wrestler.
I don't...
I had to.
I don't believe in karma myself, because if karma was the case, then Charles Manson wouldn't have lived for so long.
What is that? That's got to be a reference from something.
That's just a perfect example of why karma isn't
off the cuff.
That was just a perfect example of why karma isn't a thing.
True that. I mean, it's just interesting that you chose him. There's a lot of other people more deserving of karma getting them than him. And I mean, he's really deserving, but like, there's a lot out there. I mean, you could call Karma rotting in prison for like 50 years. That's but like just about what he's done.
He should be dead.
He should be
Yes. He shouldn't be still alive at 80 something years old. Is he still alive? I thought did he die recently?
I'm pretty sure he's alive. We can look this up.
That just shows that karma's not real.
Right there.
Yes.
Right there. That's the defining factor.
He's 80 something years old. I mean, to live that long.
All right, let's Charles Manson is. Oh, he did die. Huh.
It was recent.
Jeez. I was unaware. November 19th, 2017, so a little less than a year ago.
Yep. How old was he?
He was 83.
It's the fact that he lived to 83. Karma doesn't exist, people. And being arrested for your crimes does not count as karma.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes. So.
All right. Well, these next ones are really hot, and they're both so good that I think we need a joint bombshell. They're just on fire. You know, there's one better than the rest. It's gonna be a single bombshell. So here we go with the third take I got tonight. Corey and Devin lose their elimination.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because I just don't see like them being the second team to come in. There's going to be a lot tougher competition. They're going to walk in. Everyone's going to be like, oh, hey, my boy Corey. And then, like, and Devin's going to be like, oh, and Bananas going to be like, I'm all pouty about this.
It very easily could be a Tony Bananas sitting there against them as well, with the way the game's going right now. I hope.
They're going to That
would be too perfect.
No, Brian, they're just sitting in a hotel waiting for that. That's what production is planning all along.
No, they didn't know. Corey was at home with his daughter. I followed the season like cast, and Corey was definitely not sitting in a hotel. Devin's father died. No one even knew he was going to come back.
I'm not saying that they're sitting there since day one. I'm saying that like they got there and they didn't go into the first elimination when they arrived to South Africa. The production waited until.
So that's a good hot take then. That you think that happened. It definitely didn't happen with Ashley and Hunter. They just threw him in there when they got a chance.
However, they definitely knew that the wall punching elimination was going to be the elimination they used to introduce Hunter and Ashley.
Hunter having to punch a wall, the guy who broke his wrist last season.
Absolutely. There's no way that this was just going to be a random elimination. This, like, from the beginning was like, this is going to be the Hunter Ashley elimination. Mm-hmm. Calling that the Corey and Devin one is going to be a puzzle because of Devin and because Corey's brother was Mitch, or cousin. His name was Mitch. It's gonna be a puzzle one. Or like not a brutal like physical one at least. It's gonna be like
none of them
some
have
sort
been
of
brutal physical ones.
This one.
I guess this one was without being a contact thing.
And I think this one is one of the hottest takes that we've ever had on the show, and it's so hot. I think we're gonna have to go off air with it. So that's gonna do it with episode 8 of the Challenge Takes podcast. This is Brian.
Yes.
Over here.
Goodbye. Good night.
This is me, Joe. Good night. And Nate from Rivals 3 will be returning in season 34.